All right, all right. That's as good as I can get. The video quality with this camera. I do have another camera. Might bust it out at some point, but hey, it is what it is, folks. Welcome back. We've got a soundboard now. I'm so happy about that. So thank you so much for being here. We are talking about NomadNet sites. Now you may think, man, does this really need its own 101? It does. Whether you're a developer or you're just somebody who's going to be visiting and using sites on NomadNet, I really think that this is something that everyone will benefit from. So not a super long one today, probably 15 or 20 minutes, part of our Reticulum NomadNet series. But before we get started, I want to kind of recap where we were in the first two videos. So first video, we talked about what Reticulum and NomadNet is. The second video, we talked about how to actually get on, how to download mesh chat software and how to get plugged in. It's free. It doesn't cost any money to get on Reticulum. It's very easy to get on Reticulum and NomadNet, and that is made easy by a lot of community support and developers who have been developing on top of Reticulum, specifically with apps like Sideband and Mesh Chat. So that's what you missed if you missed episodes 1 and 2. But today we're going to be talking about what it takes to get on to a website or a site on Nomad Network. And we've already talked about how to configure interfaces, which is step 1, but today is more focused on the actual site navigation and site development. So even if you're not a developer and you never have the intent of developing a site on Nomad Network, I still think that this video would be helpful for you because you're going to learn about how the thing works on the back end. And we're going to learn that there are some serious threats, potential big time negatives that could happen on Nomad Network that you just need to be aware of before you get on there. So we're going to let some people pour into the chat here for a second. I'm going to go and check the streams a little bit and see what's going on. So I also wanted to mention that we probably have the best quality over on Rumble. And Rumble's new for us. We've got our first 5 subscribers over there. So thank you to the people that went over there and tapped in. Rumble's new for us. We have not done that, but I really think it makes a lot of sense, especially as we pivot to talk more about, I'll give you an example of the episode I'm doing research for now. So Cape Wireless, this new wireless company that has come out and has been capitalizing on the, hey, we're your secure cellular provider like tagline, right? And so a lot of people don't know that company was founded by a guy who was heavily involved at Palantir. That company, over half of its funding came from one donor. So anyways, we're gonna expose Cape Wireless specifically in one of our videos. So that's some of the live stuff that we're going to be doing over on Rumble. It doesn't really fit over on YouTube. It doesn't fit on Instagram. So Rumble just makes the most sense for me to be able to talk about those things. I really don't want to see people get duped by thinking that Cape Wireless is offering some sort of, super secure service or whatever. And look, everything I'm saying is allegedly, right? So throw that caveat out there. I'm doing an analysis. I'm researching and getting sources and hearing things and reading things, and I'm bringing that to you as Jake's analysis or Gridbase's company analysis of this other company that's out there that is making these claims that I don't know can be substantiated. So, we'll see. I would love to put that video out there and have some people come out and say, no, I think you got this thing all wrong. I'll come back and lick my wounds in front of all of you if that's the case, but I really don't think it is. So yeah, that's what you can expect over on Rumble. I would really appreciate it if you folks went over there and checked it out. I think it's going to be a good time over there. So with that, we are going to start talking about Nomad Network sites. And to do that, we are going to just visit one. We're going to visit the Gridbase site. I would say that the Gridbase site on Nomad Network is relatively finished, which I'm very excited to announce. It's taken me almost a week to get that even like somewhat decent, to get the Reticulum Nomad Network site up even in some sort of decent kind of way has taken a lot of my time. It's taken a lot of time away from my family, away from the business, away from you guys. And so, yeah, I'm really happy that it's up. It's here. And we're going to start off. I'm going to show you 2 ways to access websites on Nomad Network. The first way I'm gonna show you is gonna piggyback off of the last video that we did, talking about installing Reticulum Mesh Chat, which is its own software that is an interface to operate with the network stack beneath it. So yeah, so we'll start off talking about Reticulum Mesh Chat and specifically how to access websites within it. Now, normally we'll start off with what you know. What you know from websites is www dot xxxxxxxx dot xxxx, right? Whether that's net or whatever. So that is what this is here. But as you can see, it is not www dot. It is the actual LXMF address of the site with page and index. Index is essentially the page that you're landing on. So you're going to see a lot of sites here with index at the top. Now, what if you don't know this number here? What if you have no idea what this number is and you just got on and you're like, well, now what? Where do I go? Well, that is what the announces page is for. Before we can talk about announces, I want to go back to talk about interfaces because websites are announced on interfaces that they are connected to. So as you can see here, I have a list of different interfaces. Some are connected, some are not. We can get a visual representation of what that looks like over here in the network visualizer. So the green dots are nodes. That's to say hosts, places where people are hosting an instance. The gray dots are websites. Blue dots are users. The yellow dots are also, as I understand it, certain types of websites, and the red dots are interfaces that are not active or not up. The white dot is me, so I'm the anonymous peer here. And so, as you can see here, there are a lot of different nodes. This is infinitely scalable. You could have tons of nodes, and you could have tons of users and tons of websites all on their own reticulum instances, right? And these are calling interfaces. The green dots are what we're calling interfaces. So all of the gray dots that are on here, the websites, when they are attached to an interface, they announce themselves. Okay, that is, I'm going to say coded, but you can change it, but it's essentially coded into building a site. It is going to announce itself. Okay, and it's going to announce itself in this announces tab. All right, so you're going to see a second ago, these are all pages that are announcing themselves. So if you find yourself at Nomad Network and you don't know what address to put in, if you do know what address to put in, you would just simply go to open a NomadNet URL, enter it right here, click OK, and that would take you to it. But if you don't know what address, you can just go to the announce page and click anyone you want to. All right, we're going to go back to mine. So once this is here, you're like, man, I don't want to have to go through that again. That's what we're gonna do here. I click my little favorite icon, and now these are stashed over in my favorites. Now, there's no guarantee that it will be there when you get back because, as the network interface or the network visualizer shows, these nodes can turn off. They can turn red. Maybe somebody has it down for maintenance. Maybe somebody is moving locations. Maybe somebody's Wi-Fi or something went out or whatever. These nodes can easily go offline. And now maybe the node is only offline. Well, I'm not even gonna say that. Confuse most people, but there's different ways to connect to the node. Maybe the way that I'm connected to the node is not the way that it's currently online. That's probably the easiest way to say that. Um, but yeah, this is a way to visualize sites. You can go and look at sites here, or you can go into Nomad Network and go into announces and see sites here, right? So this would be like a browser, so to speak, right? You're just browsing through all the different websites that are available. And there are lots of really, really cool ones. Pulling up a Field Team 6 here. He's been doing a lot of work on his site. And one thing that I really like is this antenna tools link that he has. And it is a offline antenna length calculator. So if you're building a half wave or an infed or what have you, depending on the frequency that you're trying to attain, you can calculate the length of wire that you will need for that given antenna. So that's pretty cool. Field Team 6 is doing a lot of really cool development stuff. And look, this is one really important thing that I want to say about Nomad network sites. Because you can connect them in different ways, that's to say, because you could connect to a Nomad's network site via a node or a fantastic device, or you could also connect to it via the standard internet. different features will be available at different times. But it's suffice to say that if you're accessing the site through the internet, that most features will be available. Now, what am I talking about? Well, one thing that I'm talking about is RSS feeds. RSS feeds rely on a established internet connection to receive the RSS feeds themselves. Now, if you're not familiar with RSS feeds, it's essentially just a way to aggregate news feeds. It looks like Field Teams is broke right now. I was working the other day, maybe he's doing some work on it, but it'll aggregate news from, say, Bloomberg or anywhere, and it's not even necessarily just news. It can anything that has an RSS feed assigned to it, like a blog or something like that, can be aggregated using an RSS feed. So that's an example of a type of data that is aggregated via the standard normal internet, then put here for you to see. But there's other aspects like the antenna tools that's going to work offline. So if you're connected to something like antenna tool or to Field Team 6's page via something like an R node that is not connected to the standard internet, these links would still work. These being the antenna tools. So just a quick Field Team 6 page here. I'm a little sick. I'm gonna suck my snot down my nose. Hold on. I'm getting over it. It's not even sick really, it's just drippy and drainage, it's gross, but, anyways, apologies. But you can see here, this is an old announcement from my page yesterday. I've since changed that to the very cool font it is now, and as you'll see, unlike any other page currently out there displaying itself to me, I'm very proud of that, it stands out. So that is a quick look at, hey, where is the web address? How do I put that in? How do I find pages? And one thing that I want to mention here too is that you might be connected to an interface looking for a page, but that page no longer exists on the interface that you were once connected to it too. So, over here, there's pages that are hosted on Goon Cloud. Well, those pages could host themselves somewhere else. So they might be on RNet TCP or they might be on this. If you don't have those interfaces, it might not necessarily be that the page is down. It might just be that the host for the page or the node for the page has changed. So just because a page is moved up, or just because you're not able to find it anymore in your favorites from where it was saved, perhaps go look for it in the network visualizer. Maybe it has just changed locations now, and it is on a different instance of Reticulum. So yeah, let's see. Next, moving on down the line, I want to talk about our page, what we've developed, why we developed it that way, and then we'll kind of transition into the back end side of this. Which, again, if you're not a coder and you never want to develop your own page, I think you'll still get a lot out of it. Um, but yeah, but we are going to talk about some development stuff here. That's what you're here for. Stick around. Before we move on, I'm gonna tap in with, the chat, see who's here, see what's going on. Wow, 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 tons of messages. Thanks, folks. Hello, NomadNet, doing reticulum work, from Cypher. Doing reticulum work? Yes, I am doing reticulum work. Yep, welcome to the show. Also, RDNS can be used for destination resolution. Very cool. Don't know what that means. I'm gonna have to research that comment later. So, audio is scuffed, keeps cutting in and out. That's unfortunate. Audio is rough. Audio is cutting out bad. Two things. One, for those of us who downloaded Rumble recently, what is the name of your channel? And to maybe try putting the microphone a little closer to you. Well, how about I just turn up the gain? Whoa! Turning up the gain there for you. So hopefully that's better. Maybe that's blowing your eardrums out. It's blowing my ears off. I can tell you that. So wow. All right. So yeah, this comment that's right here is talking about they downloaded Rumble and they're looking for the channel name. Hey, it's just gridbase.net, GRIDBASEDOTNET, spelt all the way out. So if somebody out there can give me a report on the audio, let me know if it's a little better. Seems like maybe it was turned down a little too low earlier. But yeah, I turned it up, turned the gain up a little bit, and we'll see how that works. Yeah, right there. All right. Okay, so far. Right. Well, hopefully that didn't ruin everything we've discussed this far. Okay, well, with that, with addressing some of these comments, I appreciate you guys letting me know about the audio. It's disappointing, but it's lessons learned for the future. So I've got it set on 7. Remind me next time. Maybe I'll just mark it with a Sharpie. That's probably a better idea. All right. Well, with that, we missed a bunch. Oh no! Did you really though? Was that just your connection? I don't know. Should I start over? Should I start from the top? I'll do it. This calls for a nicotine shot. All right, all right, all right, all right. I don't know if I'm gonna start it over. If I go back and watch it and it's dog water, then maybe I will start it over. But sorry, bro, but true. Oh no, what a disappointment to my father. Gosh. All right. Do we start over? Just somebody else, dude. It's suicide by slingshot. I trust you. It has nothing to do with my trust or faith in you. But for me to start over and do 15-minute rip, I mean, I'll do it, but I'd rather not. Somebody else, let me know. Black Swan 33. You also had some feedback about the audio quality. Can you confirm whether or not it was so bad that I should start over, or what? Suicide by slingshot. I might just start over, dude. Damn. Should have looked at the chat sooner. You guys have my back. What an unfortunate chain of events. All right. Well, I'm not going to sit here and fucking cry about it all day. I will just go ahead and continue on and hope that people get something out of it. If I go back and watch it after the fact, then perhaps I will re-record it. But we're going to move on from this for now. So, um, I don't think. I mean, is it my connection? Am I not connected to the right? No, I'm connected to the right thing. No, it shouldn't be my connection. My connection is solid. I know that for sure. Whatever. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. We got to move on. We got more to talk about. You guys can hear me now. That's the important thing. Um, and that maybe I'll use like an AI scrubber or something to fix the audio later in post. But let's see. All right. So moving on now to discuss the development of pages, how I developed mine, why I developed mine the way that I did, and some things that you should be aware of and look out for when it comes to other people's pages. Um, Now, in order for me to do this, I'm actually going to jump into, hold on a second. All right, that's good. So this will be a good place for me to show you guys some stuff. All right, switching back over here, I'm going to share my screen with you folks. So let's see, we present this page here. Screen sharing. All right, so this is the file tree for a page. Why am I showing this to you? I'm showing this to you because I want you to understand how the back end works. When you click a button, when you do something, there's either an automation or you're going from page to page. This is how it's built, and it's important that you understand how it's built because you will understand why you'll have a broken link or what have you. So whether you're developing your page or visiting your page, it doesn't quite matter. What matters is that you just kind of see this and generally familiarize yourself with it. I'm not going to bore you to death on this topic. If it's something you're really interested in, the Discord has a Micron Dev section over there where we nerd out on Micron Dev stuff. So if that's something that you want to, hey, Black Swans over on Rumble, nice. Thank you for being here. Let's see. And now you have 5 followers on Rumble. It was a little choppy. It's better now. Still a little in and out, although I don't see it getting better by restarting. So you can just keep going. All right, cool. Yeah. So just talking about the file tree real quick. That's how it's built, right? So a lot of people never see the back end of stuff and never need to. But I do think it's relatively important that you understand what you're on here and what it looks like on the back end. So moving over to our site, how we designed it, less about how we designed it and more about the methodology behind the design. So there's lots of really good looking sites out there. and looks is definitely important. You want something to be easy to navigate, not too sluggish, slow. But looks was not my number one priority with the site. My number one priority with the site was functionality, followed by um, stability and security. So what I mean by stability is I wanted it to support a large number of users. And what I mean by security, we will talk about right now. So if what you'll see here is that the only thing you're going to see when you land on our page is you have to log in. Now, the reason that I made it that way was because I wanted traceability of users so that I could give certain users access to certain things. I also wanted to prevent bots or people from coming in and spamming our let's say our forums or our chats or our situation reports. I didn't want people to come in and just spam stuff. And there's actually two spam layers, or really three spam layers that prevent that. But the first spam layer is forcing a login. So yes, you can see here if you click register, it's very simple. You can put your username and password. And one thing I wanted to mention too is that there's two ways that people handle registration. One way is they actually capture the actual input that you put in for username and password, and then whenever you go to log in, it recalls that exact information. The other way is through the LXMF address, and that is far more secure. And I without getting way into the weeds here about this, essentially what it means is that one way you could be honeypotted and somebody can actually go and see what you've input. The other way I can't even see. So if you go in and you set your password, I cannot see that. I can just see that it's assigned a particular 32 character string of stuff. And so if somebody's spamming something and I want to remove their account or restrict their access, I have the ability to do that, not by name only, but by that address. And I think that that's really important because a lot of people use the same username and password for stuff across the board, and I get it. There's a lot of stuff to log into, so it's definitely not the most secure thing. We all know that, but we do it. It's human, and so if you're using the same username and password that you use for your banking account or your social media account or whatever on somebody else's login, you can see why that might be a problem if that person has the intent to honeypot. But not even if that person has the intent to honeypot, but if someone else gets access to that information uh, unwittingly somehow, then you can see how it presents an issue. So I'm not even claiming that the people developing sites like this are intentionally honeypotting or whatever. I'm just saying that there's a more secure method to set up registration and authentication, and I really think that it should be pursued by site developers. So I will tell you right now, no gatekeeping. I used a template known as Node App Template. It was found over on Codeberg. Don't remember who the original developer was, but they had a really good system in place for authenticating users and then aggregating their authentication site-wide. And when I say aggregating, I just mean registering that they're still logged in from page to page. And that's handled from a top-down standpoint, not on a page-to-page instance. So for the devs out there who are working with this stuff, definitely go check out Codeberg. Somebody posted that. Another reason to go check out the Discord, somebody posted the Codeberg thing on the Discord in Micron Devs. So let's all go ahead and give that person a round of applause. Yeah, because they deserve it. So moving on now, I'm going to log into my account here and we will press forward. So all right, that being the case, we will log in, and I'm logged in. We'll continue. So here you're going to see the landing page. Use the links above to navigate the grid-based node. To set up your message tab, visit Profile. So what is that? If we go over here to Profile, it is going to give us an opportunity to look at and manage our profile on this here. So we can update a password, we can provide our name, about us, but this is the important part here, the LXMF address. Now, if somebody sends you a message, typically it will populate in this messages section over here. But perhaps you're accessing Nomad Network from somewhere else. You can just simply check your messages inside of the grid-based site if somebody sends you a message to that LXMF address. So it's not a crazy feature. It's not even something that I think is super useful, but it's cool. It was easy for us to add, so we added it. But this is where you set up your profile. You don't have to. When you log in, you were assigned a base account of user. So you were a user. We have three tiers of accounts: user, moderator, and admin. But by and large, most people are just going to be users until we get to a point where we need a moderator. A moderator would be somebody that could go in and delete scripts or fix account passwords. Perhaps, I don't even know if that's a feature we would be able to integrate or should integrate, but that's the idea functionally behind a moderator. So moving on now into the sit reps. So the sit reps are really important to me because I think having a good place to accurate information, boots on the ground information is one of the coolest aspects of this. And everything on my site right now works offline too. So everything if we're connected to the internet, but it also would work if we were connected over our nodes or over a some other type of networking that didn't have mainline internet access. So I have currently developed it that way. I'll probably add some some on network tools, but currently I don't have any on network exclusive tools. Right now, everything is off network. I wanted to get that established as the baseline, and then maybe we'll have like a tab for like off network tools, things like RSS feeds, whatever later on. But yeah, you can make a new sitrep right here, and each sitrep feed has different places to input information. So for Texas, we know it's for Texas, so we just are establishing the region and then the summary of the event. So we only have these two fields for the Texas sitrep page. And one thing that I developed, I talked earlier about the fact there were three different span guards on this. Mean by that is that we have the login layer. The other thing we have is a cooldown. So there is a arbitrarily long cooldown period where if you're trying to make too many posts in one board in a given time, it will restrict your access until that cooldown period has stopped. So that's one way we are preventing spamming. The other thing is we're picking up on keywords. So if four people in a row are dropping a SIP rep that says test, 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 or what have you, it will prevent that from happening because it's going to notice that there are more than a number of one, two, or three, or whatever. There are more entries that all have that same subject field or that same summary or what have you. So those are the three ways that we're preventing spamming. That was one of the biggest things that I saw when I started to go through and analyze some of the other sites was just lots of spam, lots of people testing, test this, test that, or bogus reports. I even made a bogus report on a field team's site. I'm not even sorry about it. It was funny, and that's what happens. That's what devs do to other devs, right? So yeah, and so we'll move on now to nationwide, and we'll look at the nationwide sit rep. Nationwide meaning everything inside of the continental U.S. Everything that pertains to that. So in here, Allcon is radio speak for hey everybody. So this was a notification that I made. The thing here that I want to point out is that there's three separate fields. So because it is a nationwide, I feel like it was important to outline the state, the subject, and then the message itself. So when you go into drop new sit rep, you will see that there are three different fields you can put in here, just like that. So moving on now to global. Global is also a three fielder. I'm sorry, global is a two fielder. A region summary. So global information is not super, super critical to the people that I interface or think about when I build this kind of stuff. So this is more just general. So as you can see here, I kind of seconded this that's happening on March 18th and dropped that in here. So these are all very real sit reps. Heightened risk of arbitrary detention, arrest, or retaliatory actions. The PRC is arbitrarily enforcing local laws, carrying out wrongful detentions, and issuing exit bans on foreign citizens without fair and transparent process under international law. That's happening. And so, yeah, you can see the time. The time is UTC, which is plus from Central. So wherever you're at in the United States, it's now. Yeah, the last thing that I really want to show you here is just downloads. So this is only for people that are on my same network. Currently, you're accessing this from outside of my exact network. You will not have access to these files. But here you can see that ATAC Maps is loaded up into here. Also down here in software, I've got all of the different instances of Mesh Chat. And so these are served uh, via Flask. So Flask sets up a little server and then gives you a download link so you can actually download this in a normal browsing window, um, with this being a repository. So, and then we've got a section here for user submitted, currently no files in this category. So, yeah, that's it for our page right now. We have a lot more development to do. A chat room is definitely next. I want to integrate a chat room. I want to integrate an anonymous tip booth or a confessional booth, a place where people can go and make statements, and those statements can be seen anonymously by other folks. So those are just some loose ideas. I'm thinking about integrating an interactive map into my page, but it's going to take a lot of work to do that. But I have the foundation established, so we'll just have to wait and see if that ever outcomes. Going into the holidays, I'm not really positive that I'll have the time to manage that. But yeah, I'm going to go back and check the chat here for a second and see if there's anything going on that I need to know about. All right. Hello, new here, trying to understand what's going on. Hey, what's going on is there's a control grid in place, and people are using that control grid to force compliance. We can see that now with digital IDs over in the United Kingdom. Very real thing. This is a conspiracy theory. This is a pie in the sky. So we're trying to escape the control grid, and we're talking about tools we can use to escape that control grid with a specific focus on Reticulum and Mesh Chat, because it's perhaps one of the best tools out there to facilitate the escape from the existing control grid. So, yeah, that's what we're doing. If you want to know more about it, you can go check out my YouTube channel where I've uploaded the previous 2 streams, and you'll find more information there. I'm outlining everything in chronological order, so it's got its own playlist. You can go there, start from the top. It'll give you the top-down view, tell you how to get started. It doesn't cost any money. You don't need to go buy anything. If you have a laptop, you can get started. If you have an Android, you can get started. So, yeah, that's what we're doing here. Um, I can't. Every time he says something important, he cuts out. It's not your mic. That's a bummer. We haven't had that problem on any stream before. I am using a Starlink, and there's some weather coming in. And so, yeah, that could be it, right? Limited access on the Starlink. So, Discord access, yeah, you can go gridbase.net on Discord, and it's open to everybody. We have private channels. So if you've made it, as an example, if you've made it onto our Nomad Network site, you will get access to our private channels. But we have plenty of public channels too. We have the free knowledge market where people are talking about radios and watches and all kinds of stuff over there in the free knowledge market. So, yeah, back to you, ABD El Kader Shofi. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate that. We'll move over to Instagram and see if there's anything going on over there. And looks pretty low key. That's all right. Northern Hillbilly said good content on my channel. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Folks, we are live on Rumble as well, and we'll be doing more intentional, different content, stuff you've never seen from me before. Will be happening on Rumble very soon. So go check that out, gridbase.net, over on Rumble. Every time we do a live, I'm live on Instagram, YouTube, and Rumble. So it's really important to me. I'm going to do a private call after this here over in the Discord and chat with some folks over there, and just chat, hang out, talk about the stream, whatever. And yeah, if you want to join me over there, you're more than welcome to. It's free. Just go to Discord, look up gridbase.net, DOTNET. With that, that's going to conclude our NomadNet site navigation, site development, familiarization. So look forward to the next one, probably next Thursday, maybe Monday. And you never know. Be sure to turn on notifications so that you get notified whenever I go live. And with that, I will see you all very soon. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.